There's a specific image that has probably been more to define our psychological place in the universe than really any textbook ever written.
Oh, yeah.
It's grainy, it's mostly darkness, and if you really squint at it, there's this tiny, faint speck of light just caught in a scattered ray of sunlight.
The pale blue dot, Voyager 1.
Exactly, the pale blue dot. And Carl Sagan's reflection on that image is just, it's legendary. It's almost secular scripture at this point.
It really is.
He talks about how on that dot, every human being who ever was, every hunter and forager, every creator and destroyer of civilization, they all lived out their lives on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam.
Right. It's this beautiful, haunting piece of writing. And it acts as the ultimate reality check for us.
It does. It tells us we're small. It tells us we're deeply insignificant. We're just a blip in the dark void. And usually that's where the conversation just ends.
Yeah.
We feel humble, maybe a little existentially depressed, and we move on to our coffee.
But that is exactly the problem.
Right.
That perspective, as powerful and as necessary as it is, it gives us a form of tunnel vision. It focuses entirely on space, on physical dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a source today, a really fascinating essay titled Future of the Earth. Specifically, we're looking at the extended updated version. And it argues that if you pivot, if you stop looking at space and start looking at time, that sense of insignificance completely vanishes.
And that is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're taking this essay, which draws really heavily on the work of the astronomer Sir James Jeans, but it synthesizes it with modern geology, and we're going to flip the script. The mission for this deep dive is pretty specific for you listening.
We want to cure you of chronological claustrophobia.
Which is a phrase I absolutely love, by the way.
Which is great.
I hadn't really thought about it before reading this source, but once you name it, you just see it everywhere. Define that for us.
So it's the subconscious feeling that we are living at the end of the story, that humanity is the climax of history, or that the quote-unquote modern world is the final state of affairs. We tend to think that because we are here right now must be the most important time.
Yeah, the pinnacle.
Exactly. But the source material argues the exact opposite. We aren't the climax. We aren't even in the middle. We are in the early morning.
So if the pale blue dot makes you feel small in space, this deep dive is designed to make you feel massive in time.
Massive, and perhaps a little terrified by the responsibility.
Fair enough.
But yes, to understand why we're massive, though, we first have to understand just how little time we've actually taken up so far. We really need to calibrate our watches, so to speak.
And the best way to do that is the cosmic calendar. Now, I know Sagan popularized this, but the source notes it's actually rooted in Jeans's earlier work. Let's build this model out so you can really feel the scale of this.
The mental model is pretty simple. Imagine we take the entire history of the Earth, all 4.5 billion years of it,
Okay.
and we compress it into a single calendar year, from January 1st to December 31st.
Got it. So January 1st, the Earth forms?
Right, and it is not a nice place. It's just dust and gas swirling around, collapsing into molten rock. It's violent, it's hot, and it's totally sterile. It's just bleeding heat into space.
And then we wait. And this is the part that always surprised me about this timeline. I think we assume life pops up pretty quickly. Like, water appears and boom, fish.
Not even close. Complex life is a very, very recent invention. Simple single-celled life, accidental molecules replicating, that shows up around late March.
Okay.
But then, silence.
Yeah.
For months on this calendar, the Earth is just slime.
Literally just slime.
Fact is, yeah. It's what geologists call the boring billion years, where nothing much happens other than bacteria figuring out how to eat sunlight.
So we're just scrolling through April, May, June, July, and it's just bacteria.
Pretty much. The first fish, they don't even start swimming until August.
Wow. And the land plants. The things that actually make the Earth look like Earth.
Late November.
Oh.
Before that, the continents are just bare rock and dust.
That really highlights how recent the green world actually is. Okay, let's get to the heavy hitters. The dinosaurs. In our heads, mostly thanks to movies, they feel like they ruled the Earth forever.
In this calendar, they appear in mid-December. They ruled the planet for about 10 days.
10 days out of the year.
Yeah. And then, on December 26th, Boxing Day, the asteroid hits the Yucatan. Boom. Rain over.
Boxing Day. That's rough. So the mammals emerged from the rubble in the last week of the year. Now here's the big question. Where are we? Where does humanity enter the chat?
This is the chronological claustrophobia kicker. In this 4.5 billion year calendar, Homo habilis, our earliest tool-making ancestor, doesn't show up until December 31st, at 11:56 p.m.
4 minutes to midnight.
And that's just the species itself, recorded history. The pyramids, the Roman Empire, the Great Wall, Shakespeare, the moon landing, the internet, everything we know. All of that happens in the last 60 seconds of the final day.
60 seconds.
That's a single minute of varnish on the museum floor. If you look at it that way, it feels crushing, doesn't it? We're just a film of dust on the very end of the timeline.
It totally feels like we missed the party. Like the movie is over and we just walked into the theater while the credits are rolling and the lights are coming up. It really reinforces that pale blue dot feeling that we barely exist, we're an afterthought.
But that is the mistake.
Right.
That is exactly where the extended, updated version of the essay pivots. We are looking at the calendar as if December 31st is the end. We assume the year ends at midnight because that's how human calendars work.
But the Earth doesn't expire at midnight.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And this is where we had to get a little technical about the sun. The sun is a main sequence star. It's remarkably stable.
But stars die, right? I mean, eventually it runs out of fuel.
It does.
Yeah.
But eventually is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Unless we get hit by a rogue planet or we destroy the biosphere ourselves, the Earth remains in the habitable zone, the Goldilocks zone, for a very, very long time.
How long is long? Because to a geologist, 1,000,000 years is a long time. To an astronomer, maybe not.
The source gives a figure that is hard to even wrap your head around. 10 to the 12th years. 1 trillion years.
1 trillion. Okay, let me do the math here. 1 billion is 1,000 million. 1 trillion is...
1 million million.
So if the past 4.5 billion years, everything from the lava to the dinosaurs to us is 1 calendar year, the future isn't just next year.
No. It is 200 more years.
200.
200 Earth histories stacked on top of each other. We are living at the very beginning of the first year of a 200-year cycle.
That completely changes the vibe. We aren't the film of dust at the end, we're the opening credits.
We're the opening scene, we are the morning of consciousness. And the essay uses a specific metaphor to visualize this, which I think works better than the calendar because it gives you a real sense of vertical scale. It involves Cleopatra's Needle.
The obelisk in London, on the Victoria Embankment.
That's the one. It's ancient Egyptian stone, about 21 meters tall. So imagine that obelisk represents the entire past of the Earth, from the molten beginning to right this second. 21 meters of solid stone.
Okay, I'm picturing it. It's a decent-sized monument.
Now take a postage stamp, just a regular paper stamp, stick it on the very top of that obelisk.
Okay.
The thickness of that stamp, mere millimeters, is all of human history. Sumer, Rome, the Industrial Revolution, the atomic bomb, you, me. That stamp is us.
A stamp on top of a 21-meter tower, that definitely tracks with the last 60 seconds idea.
Right, that's the past. Now, to see the future, the habitable future of the Earth provided by that stable sun, we need to start stacking more stamps on top of that first one.
How high does the stack go? If the past is 21 meters, are we talking like the height of a skyscraper?
Keep going.
The height of a mountain?
Keep going. This stack of stamps, representing the trillion years ahead, goes higher than Mont Blanc, which is 4,800 meters.
Whoa.
It goes higher than Mount Everest at 8,800 meters.
You're kidding.
It keeps going past the Kármán line, the edge of space, 100 kilometers up.
A stack of postage stamps reaching into orbit.
It goes up for 1,000 miles, into the region where satellites act as low Earth orbit relays.
That is terrifyingly huge. I mean, physically, I can't even picture a stack of paper that high.
It's almost impossible to visualize, but try to hold that image in your mind. The obelisk is the past, 21 meters. The single stamp is us. And the soaring, invisible mountain of stamps above it, reaching out into the blackness of space, that is what hasn't happened yet. That is the blank page.
It implies that we have mistaken the womb for the tomb. We think we're old and sophisticated and modern. But on that scale, we haven't even been born yet, geologically speaking.
Precisely. And this puts our modern anxieties into a really weird perspective. We stress about a 4-year political term or a quarterly earnings report, but when you look at the Tower of Stamps, those things are totally invisible.
They aren't even the ink on the stamp, they're the atoms in the ink.
Exactly. And to ground this, the source brings in geology, because time is abstract, but rocks are real. We talked about the dinosaurs earlier. Let's look at the Cretaceous period.
The T-Rex era.
Right. The Cretaceous lasted 79 million years. Just think about that duration. For 79 million years, the world turned. Continents split apart. Flowers evolved for the first time. The world suddenly had fragrance and color.
That's a detail I always forget. The world was just green and brown for eons, and then suddenly, flowers.
And huge predators hunted through these fern valleys. That one single era lasted long enough to be enacted and completed 40 times over in the future span we're talking about.
So you could have 40 entire Age of Dinosaurs sagas, one after another, in the time we have left.
Easily. You could evolve entire new biospheres. You could have civilizations rise, spread to the stars, collapse, and be forgotten, and the Earth wouldn't even be at lunchtime on the cosmic calendar yet.
That really changes the definition of sustainable, doesn't it?
It completely breaks the word. We usually think of sustainable as, can we keep doing this for another 100 years? But true sustainability in this model is, can we keep the game going for the next billion?
But there is a difference between us and the dinosaurs, isn't there? Because if we're just another layer of biology, what prevents us from ending up exactly like them?
A massive difference.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs didn't have agency. They were wiped out by indifferent mathematics. An asteroid the size of a city slams into the Yucatan, and that's it. Curtain closed. They couldn't see it coming. They couldn't deflect it. They had no space program.
We can look up.
We can look up and we can look forward. We're the first species to understand the limits of our cradle. We know the sun has a life cycle. We know asteroids exist. We can plot the future.
And I want to contrast that agency with another number from the source because it really drives this home.
Yes.
We talked about the human flicker.
Yes.
Anatomically, modern humans have been around for, 300,000 years? That's shorter than the Pleistocene ice ages. And human civilization is barely 5,000 years old.
Right.
The essay points out that if human existence were compressed into 1 second, civilization is 16 milliseconds.
Wow.
16 milliseconds. That is the duration of a camera shutter click.
It's a flash.
It's just a flash. Which brings us to this really interesting philosophical reframing in the essay. It moves from geology to biology. The author calls humans the prokaryotes of mind. Now, I remember prokaryotes from high school biology. They're basic bacteria.
Right. Go back to that boring billion years we talked about earlier. The Archean eon. The world is full of prokaryotes, single-celled organisms in the ocean. They are blind. They are simple. They can't write symphonies. They can't build rockets. They don't have politics. But they did something absolutely incredible.
They invented breathing, basically?
They invented photosynthesis. They spent billions of years metabolizing, slowly releasing oxygen. They rusted the oceans and filled the atmosphere. They changed the chemistry of the entire planet. They made the world ready for complex life. They were the foundation layers.
And the argument is, that's us. We are the bacteria.
We're the bacteria of consciousness. We are the prokaryotes of mind. We are the simple, confused, and fragile precursors to whatever comes next.
That's humbling, but also kind of exciting. It suggests we aren't the finished product. I think we have this arrogance that we're the pinnacle of evolution, that the universe spent 13 billion years just to make us.
The source argues we are just the morning. We might be the ancestors of post-biological entities or interstellar civilizations that span the galaxy. Just as a bacteria couldn't imagine a dinosaur, we probably can't imagine what life looks like 500 stamps up that tower.
We are the primitive bedrock that they're going to build on.
Exactly. But mornings are fragile, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot can go wrong before noon.
That is the double-edged sword here. The essay points out that while space teaches us humility, time teaches us audacity. But it also highlights the risk. The dinosaurs were taken out by an external threat, a rock from space. Our threats are internal.
We are our own asteroid.
Precisely. Nuclear folly, ecological unraveling, unaligned artificial intelligence. We are playing with forces that could wipe us out before we even get a chance to build the rest of that tower.
And this is where the concept of the bottleneck comes in. We are living in a moment where our technological power has outpaced our wisdom. If we trip now, we don't just scrape our knees, we fall off the cliff.
So, if we screw it up in this single minute, this single stamp, the rest of the stack never gets built.
That is the immense weight of the moment. That is the burden of the prokaryote. The essay argues that our mission isn't to finish the cathedral. We won't live to see the galactic civilization. We won't solve every mystery of the universe. Our job is actually simpler, but so much harder. Our job is to dig the trench straight.
To lay the foundation.
To be good ancestors. The source uses this beautiful imagery of us being map makers for terrain we will never cross. Lambladers for travelers not yet born.
It really changes how you see the problems we face today. Take climate change or AI safety or even just how we treat each other. It's not just about saving the planet for our grandkids. It's about keeping the door open for the next trillion years of possibility.
It elevates the stakes immensely. If we collapse now, we aren't just ending our own story. We are canceling a future that could contain quintillions of lives, works of art we can't even imagine, sciences we haven't discovered.
The essay mentions our libraries. We have, 150 million books in the Library of Congress and others? We think that's a massive amount of knowledge.
Shakespeare, Newton, the Bible, the Quran. The source calls these the first halting sentences. Imagine a library built over a million years. Shakespeare would just be one text among quintillions. Newton's laws would be seen as these quaint, useful approximations that started it all.
It's like looking at a cave painting versus a high-definition hologram.
Yeah.
We are the cave painters.
But we should be proud of that. The chain has to start somewhere. We are the ones striking the match while the night is still dark. If the cave painters hadn't painted, we wouldn't have the hologram. If the prokaryotes hadn't breathed, we wouldn't be here.
It really pushes back against that nihilism that the pale blue dot can sometimes inspire. The nothing matters, we're just dust attitude.
Vigilant realism is the term I'd use. Space diminishes us. Time exalts us. We have to hold both those truths in our heads at the exact same time. We are physically small, but temporally, we are the hinge point. We are the bottleneck through which the entire future must pass.
I want to leave you listening with that image of the stamps again, because it's the kind of thing that just sticks with you when you're walking down the street looking up at the sky.
The obelisk and the tower.
You are standing on that first single stamp, the one right on top of the obelisk. The ink is still wet. We are writing the story of this stamp right now. Every decision, every vote, every invention is a stroke of the pen.
And above you, invisible but totally possible, is a column of stamps reaching all the way to the stars. 1,000 miles of potential history.
And the question isn't how high can we go, the question is what are we writing on the bottom of the next stamp?
Because if we tear this one up, there isn't a next one.
1 trillion years is a long time to be dead, but it's an even longer time to be alive. Let's make sure we give the future a chance to happen. Thanks for taking this deep dive into deep time with us.
It's been a trip.
See you in the next epoch.